Matthew, everyday audiophile, music lover, beer enthusiast. You're joining me on the floor today. This is a very different view from where I normally am in my chair, which is just right over here. From here, you get a pretty good view of my rack. It's not a traditional rack that we usually have. You can see my 6v6 amp here, the EL84, one of the mono blocks is right here. My network switch, the DAC, the preamp is just off a frame there from live, my Revo Aura, my transparent power conditioner, and what you can't see out of frame is my Taurus Power AVR. So I'm using two different conditioners, and that is something that I will definitely talk about someday, but that's not what we're here for today. First, let's get the beer out of the way. It's a school night, so I'm not going to have something very heavy, so instead we're having the classic, if we can get it to focus, garage beer. It's nothing special by any means, but the local grocery store was running a special, a 12-pack for $3, and so it's kind of hard to say no to that when you aren't looking for something super fancy. And as you'd expect, it's nothing really special, kind of reminiscent of Miller or that style of beer. What we have today, if you look from my secondary camera right here, is a box. And not just anything. This is Norma Electronics, the IPA-80, their entry-level integrated amp. Now, I did talk about this in a previous video that I was hoping to get it in. This is a brand new unit, not unboxed ever before. Let's go ahead and see how it is on the inside. So first, we're going to get that undone. From what I've heard, talking to Skip, he loves their amplifiers, but just like a lot of businesses, the tariffs are killing him a little bit, and not necessarily that, but he's really waiting for them to come out with a network streamer. Something that makes integration with systems a little bit easier because not everybody is looking for a 20-box solution like what you might have here. They want 1 boxes or maybe 3 boxes at most, right? Your integrated amp, a streamer, and a turntable if the phone stage is already built into the integrated. But okay, let's open this up. Let's see. So first we get a pretty nice manual. Yeah, that's actually pretty nice. And it comes with additional fuses, which is a nice touch. So I like that a lot. We're going to set that aside. It comes with the, what is this? The remote control. Now, for the money that you spend, it is so nice to see a remote control that is aluminum. This feels not the best that I've ever felt, but it's definitely nice for the money that you spend. Look at that. I'm going to set that aside. Additionally, we have a little bag here that has batteries for the remote, an Allen wrench, and some extra screws. I believe all of these are accessories for the remote, so it's really nice to see everything that they have here. I can get on board with that. And then finally, let's go ahead and unbox this. This is really quite nicely packaged. I'm pretty surprised. Usually don't see that for this money. So the fact that it is very nicely packaged, you know that it's not going to get damaged in transit. So while we're taking this out, let's talk about the specs really quick. The IPA-80, as you can probably guess from the name, it is an 80-watt integrated amplifier. It's Class AV. It nearly doubles into 4 ohms with 150 watts instead of that 160. Still very, very good. And from what I know, talking with Skip and looking at the specs online, the reason that it nearly doubles, the reason that why he loves this integrated amplifier is that they do the same thing that really the Revo Osiris does. Is they use a ton of output transistors per channel so that it can handle those really low impedance lows. It can drive with a lot of current. So that is really, really nice to see, especially for something that retails at $5,700. This model being the entry-level full width integrated, it is single-ended only. There are no balanced inputs. You would have to move up to the IPA-40, which is a dual mono design. Proper dual mono, where it's basically split in the middle on both sides. But still, that's fine. I am not looking for that for this. This is really just a I really wanted to try it. When I heard it a few years ago with the Sertaldos that you can see right behind me here in their beautiful alligator skin, I knew that it was a combo that I had to have in my room at some point. And to be honest, if I can find a system that is fewer boxes and still gives me all of the love and joy that I get out of music with something like this, then you know I'm going to jump on it, because this is a space heater. I'll tell you what, it sounds great, but it's a space heater. So let's get this. Oh, it is a lot heavier than it looks. It is definitely a chunky little unit. Get off the stuff there. And this one actually has the DAC input. That is really interesting. He had asked me if I wanted the DAC or the phono, and I said I didn't really have a preference. I already have phono stages, so I didn't really need that. But he dropped off one with the USB input, so I'm definitely going to be listening to that and giving my thoughts on it. I surely don't expect it to compare to something like the Live DAC or my Audio S5, but I still think it should be pretty good. All of the heat sinks are on one side right here. These are where all the output transistors are. And then on this side, it's just flat because there's nothing on that side. Now, if you got the 140, which isn't a taller chassis, because it's dual mono, you do have the fin stack on both sides. Let's go ahead and flip it around to the front. And let's have a knob feel real quick. That feels pretty good, if I'm honest. It kind of feels like a motorized blue Alps Blue Velvet. I think that's the right potentiometer. That's what it feels like to me. They have a silky smooth feel that you can't really mistake, and that's what this feels like to me. There's a small power button right here on the front, LEDs that show you which input you're on. So this one has the D for the DAC input, and that's really it. It's pretty minimalist. In that sense, it reminds me a lot of my Riga integrated amps when I first got into audio. The Mira 3, the Elicit 3, the Elicit R that I eventually moved up to. Those were bone bare basic integrated amplifiers that all they did was provide you with music. And they did that so well. So that about wraps up today's video. I'm going to go ahead and get this hooked up and let you know how it sounds in a couple weeks. Hopefully, if my memory serves, it is going to be a near perfect companion for these Sertaldos. I don't know if it's going to replace my big, beautiful 6v6 amp here or the blue EL84s, but if it can come close, it could be the perfect summer companion down here in Texas, where it gets pretty warm, and running these hot amps, it is near impossible to stay in this room for more than a few hours at a time. But until then, I will see y'all next time. Cheers. Need my beer first. Cheers.